Hi, my name is Martin Gilpatric, and I'm here to talk to you about our GTX transceivers currently available in the 7 Series Kintex and Virtex families. These transceivers are able to operate at rates up to 12.5 gigabit per second and support a wide variety of standards, from serial ATA at 1.5 gigabit per second all the way up to OC192 at over 10 gigabit per second. The demo I'm going to show you today is running 4 lanes at 12 gigabit per second over a variety of channels, highlighting some of the features unique in a mid-range transceiver. Here we're using our VC7203 board with the Virtex-7 X485T FPGA. The channels that we've chosen highlight 4 distinct use models for a high-speed transceiver. First, we drive a scope to generate an eye diagram while using the internal loopback functionality of the GTX, both common tools for evaluating the fidelity of a link. Next, we drive 3 different externally loopback channels: cable loopback, fiber loopback with an SFP Plus module, and finally a trace board with 16 inches of trace. Each link is set to transmit and check PRBS-31 data via the ChipScope IBERT design, a system debug tool that Xilinx makes available to assist in serial design. IBERT actually allows us to modify not only the data pattern, but also the attributes and ports associated with the Xilinx transceivers, while evaluating the impact those changes made to the bit error rate of the system. This really makes it a great option for evaluating and tuning serial links. Now let's take a look at each of these channels in a bit more detail. The first channel here drives directly into our Agilent DCAJ and utilizes the internal near-end loopback feature of the GTX to check the data. Now, we don't get any errors on the loopback data as expected, so the interesting bit here really is the eye. At 12 gigabit per second, we're seeing excellent performance, illustrated here by the clean edges of the eye and the wide open eye. This eye resembles what most people expect out of a transceiver operating at half the rate, making this 12 gig eye something that we're very proud of here at Xilinx. The next channel operates over cable loopback. This is a great representation of a chip-to-chip interface, and that is very common amongst user applications. The traces are short, and the loss is negligible, and so of course we're able to receive the PRBS-31 data with no errors whatsoever, even without pre or post emphasis. Moving to the optical loopback is where we start to see things get interesting. In most cases, the SFP Plus cage, like the one we see here, would be located on the same board as the FPGA and would be driven with reasonably short traces. We've made things a little bit harder for ourselves by adding a length of SMA cable and even some connectors in the path. Even with this handicap, the GTX is able to drive the SFP Plus module over a length of optical cable and then receive the PRBS data without an error. It's important to note that this optical module is not intended to be used at 12 gigabit per second, so this system even has less margin than the real system at 10.3125 or 11.2 gigabit per second, and yet still operates flawlessly. Now, the trace board we have here is probably the most interesting channel we have. The board we are using has a variety of trace lengths on and a variety of materials, and right now we're using 16 inches of FR4. This board impacts the data in a way that represents tough channels and introduces enough loss to start stressing the equalization and DFE of the GTX transceiver. The DFE, or dynamic feedback equalizer, in the GTX is used to compensate for the loss incurred over the channel by continuously adapting its 5 feedback taps, the most in any FPGA transceiver. In this case, we're letting all 5 taps tune themselves for this board. As a result, it was much easier for me to tune the pre and post emphasis of the transmitter and get this link running error-free. Well, I hope that this demonstration has been both interesting and informative. We've gone through 4 use cases using a single GTX quad. We've shown you great transmit performance by looking at an eye diagram, proved out a chip-to-chip-like link, and then upped the ante with 12 gigabit per second operation over optical and PCB channels. For more information on the GTX transceiver, please visit us at Xilinx.com. Thank you.